Next Level Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
The SFL Season 18 playoffs continue in South Carolina. It's the first ever postseason matchup between the high-powered offense of the Mexico City Aztecs and the stout defense of the Charleston Predators. And it comes your way next on Next Level Sports. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Fort Moultrie Memorial Stadium in Charleston. Alongside producer extraordinaire Cameron Irvine with Mike St. Green in the studio, our statisticians Mark Lopez and Justin Reside, and my partner Aaron Alexander, I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Happy to have you with us. It feels like the SFL playoffs never disappoint, Aaron. Welcome to the postseason. Third ever matchup between these two teams, first ever in the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. These two teams have played twice in the regular season, the most recent back in week 1 of season 16. In both the meetings so far, it has been the home team that has come away with the victory, the last one being Charleston in that week 1 matchup. Looking forward to the game today, though. It's high-powered offense versus stalwart defense. Mexico City coming in with the third best offense in the league. Meanwhile, Charleston comes in with the 5th best defense overall, the best overall rushing defense in the league for Charleston here. Both these teams looking to make up for last season's playoff struggles. Mexico City looking to reach the championship game for the first time since season 9.
Both of these teams made the playoffs in Season 17. They both won a playoff game in Season 17, and now they meet up in the wild card round here in Season 18. Mexico City at 7-5. They're the number 11 seed. They will kick off. Charleston at 7-5. They are the number 6 team. They are at home, and they will receive. We are underway in Game 2 of Wild Card Saturday. Jay Taylor, the kick returner for the Preds. He gets the home team out to the 27-yard line. Well, Charleston Predators made some waves mid-season. After 5 games, veteran quarterback T.D. Drew was kicked to the curb and replaced by former Houston Hyenas standout Kentez Johnson, who had been out of the SFL for a couple of seasons. The last 7 games, you see him there, it's been Kentez's show. It's not been a perfect storm for Kentez, but he's off of the best game of his Charleston Predators career in Week 14, a win against the Florida Storm. Johnson will throw on first down, quick hitter on the outside, and a gain of about 4 on the first play of scrimmage for Charleston. He finds Ken Maccaro in the midst of a career year.
Yeah, quick hit by Kentez Johnson into the hands of Ken Maccaro, arguably one of the better receivers for this Charleston offense. In fact, the second most targeted among valid targets here for the Predators. Gain
of 4 for Maccaro, who finished just shy of 1,000 receiving yards this season as Johnson goes over the middle, and Lyric Da Vinci, who had exactly 600 receiving yards this regular season, couldn't haul that one in, defended well by Dexter Jackson.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward throw, too, for Kentez Johnson. He had a bit of pressure coming from the Mexico City defensive line, but the veteran presence of Kentez allows him to get that ball away before a sack from the Aztecs.
6th overall season in the SFL. First 5 with the Houston Hyenas, has been out of the league before mid-season this year. Johnson on third down, floats it into traffic, and it hits 3 different Aztec defenders. Taylor was there for Charleston, but so were a couple of defenders, Aaron, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, very, very dangerous ball from Kentez Johnson. Multiple white Aztec jerseys in the area. Could have very easily been a tip drill interception. Instead, Mexico City's defense is going to have to settle for a 3-and-out on the first drive.
In his 7 games as the quarterback with the Preds, Johnson has completed just 69% of his passes. That would be good for 20th in the SFL. If you prorate that over the course of the full season, 12 touchdowns against 17 interceptions, and an early 3-and-out for the Preds. So Cody Murphy punts it away, and Jeffrey Daggs, one of the best punt returners in SFL history, has almost nowhere to go. Excellent coverage by the Charleston special teams. So now we get our first look at the matchup that we were looking at this afternoon, Aaron, the Mexico City offense against the Charleston defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And realistically, it might be a bit one-sided. Mexico City much more known for their passing offense. Charleston better known for their rushing defense. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out.
Two teams that are in the top 5 in their respective categories, and an early sack for the Charleston defense. Mexico City barely gave up any sacks this season, and an early sack for one of the best sacking defenses in the SFL.
Yeah, Matt Wilson coming into this with with only 11 sacks to his credit, good for 4th in the league. But this defense for Charleston has been absolute sack monsters, totaling 30.5 in the regular season.
Wilson gets plastered on 2nd down as well and throws it way out of bounds. Somehow had to avoid John Lally, who's having an excellent sophomore season. To your point, Aaron, 30.5 sacks for the Charleston defense, more than twice as many what the Mexico City defense has put up this year.
Yeah, and we see the stats there. John Lally in his sophomore season, a league 4th, 18 tackles for loss so far this season. A very aggressive defensive line for the Charleston Predators here this season.
Everybody has at least 6.5 sacks. It's crazy. 3rd and 12 for Wilson. Throws right sideline, 1st down. Mexico City out across midfield, and a big catch for Orain Darby, who had just 19 grabs in the regular season. First down today belongs to the Aztecs.
Yeah, the rookie wide receiver being drafted out of Annapolis this past offseason gets the first grab of the day for Mexico City, and it's a big one, a big 1st down grab for Orain Darby, good for 27 yards.
It's not who we would have figured would have gotten the first catch of the day for Matt Wilson, but there you go. Phoenix Jones now gets his first touch of the day, and it's good for a gain of 10, plastered right at the 1st down line, they say, by Josh Reese.
Yeah, and I think with how good Charleston's rush defense has been in the regular season, we're likely going to see Phoenix Jones utilized more in the receiving role in this game today.
As Aaron said, number 1 rush defense in the SFL, Charleston. 63 yards per game, 5 yards better than the next closest, Louisiana. There is the first rush of the game, and you get just a taste of what this Preds defense can do. Robert Cherry is having an excellent rookie season.
Yeah, another one of those standout rookies here in this game today. Cherry, drafted in the 1st round out of Madison, gets a big stop here on the 1st run of the game for Mexico City.
Nothing doing for Phoenix Jones, who is just shy of 1,200 rushing yards this year. Wilson throws again, a dot over the middle, and another 1st down. This time it's Jason Bartley.
Yeah, an absolute quick dart into the hands of Jason Bartley on that one. Matt Wilson and the coaching staff for Mexico City deciding, no, we're not gonna take the risk of taking another sack here. This is close to the end zone, and just fires the ball almost immediately into the hands of Bartley, who has been the most targeted receiver here for the Aztecs in the regular season.
And number 1 on the team in catches, a career season for him. On the ground they go. First carry for Ray Bentley, the veteran fullback, former tailback, a tale told many times in the SFL, a former standout running back, a Hall of Famer at that position, retired for a season or two, and now is back as the fullback, paving the way for the youngster Phoenix Jones. Hasn't been used all that much this season, Ray Bentley. Just 85 combined touches, but a gain of 5 for him there on 1st down. Inside the 10-yard line, Wilson, the southpaw, top of the screen. Here's Jones, wrestles out of a tackle and scores. First drive touchdown for Mexico City. Phoenix Jones had 4 receiving touchdowns in the regular season, and he gets the Aztecs on the board on the road.
Yeah, and like I said, it absolute perfect sense that Mexico City is going to use Phoenix Jones in that type of scenario. Unfortunately, Johnny Bravo, the 7-year cornerback, unable to bring down the beast that is Phoenix Jones, who just strolls into the end zone for the first points of this ball game, going the way of the Aztecs.
You called it 100% right, Aaron, so 1 point already for you. Use Phoenix Jones as a pass catcher. He doesn't catch many balls at all, only 39 catches in the regular season. That is one of the lowest marks among starting tailbacks in the SFL, but 4 receiving touchdowns, that's a pretty good mark for a halfback in this league, and on their first drive, they go to him as Cole Varner hits the PAT. You called it. You go to Phoenix Jones in the red zone. It's not something that Mexico City has done a ton this year. They've got 2 big tight ends that are reliable pass catchers in the danger zone, but they go to Phoenix Jones just as you recommended. Varner will once again kick off, so an early 3 and out for the Preds turns into a first possession scoring drive, I should say, for Mexico City. 9-yard passing touchdown, capping off an 8-play, 64-yard drive for the Aztecs on their opening possession. And now the Preds, Aaron, have to play from behind. Kentez Johnson now back in the shotgun, alone in the backfield. We haven't seen any of Keith Swearingen, their standout tailback so far for the Preds. Johnson has all kinds of time, floats it down the left seam, and that's nearly intercepted. One-on-one coverage. Macaro against Gerard Brody. An excellent work by this second-year corner. It's such a young secondary, Aaron. 2 sophomores and 2 rookies, and 1 third-year player, Ben Charbs, in this secondary for Mexico City.
Yeah, very, very young secondary here for Mexico City, but a very effective one at that. Both Gerard Brody, the sophomore, like you mentioned, as well as Derek Meerkat, the rookie free safety, both with a pick 6 this season, good for 8th in the league.
Yeah, surprising to see a rookie with those numbers. Here is the first carry for Keith Swearingen, his 8th year as the tailback for the Charleston Predator franchise. A nice start for him, gain of 5. Averages just 4 yards per carry on the balance of the season, but he is 5th in the league in carries, one of the most used tailbacks. He is off the field, though, on 3rd and 5. High snap for Johnson, steps up, throws into traffic, had one-on-one coverage down the right sideline that time, and the aforementioned third-year safety, Ben Charbs, steps in to swat it away. 9 pass deflections in the regular season, and it's Charbs who is there to make the stop against Buchanan Simons.
Yeah, Charbs also with 5 interceptions so far this season. So again, this secondary for Mexico City, despite being incredibly young, tenure-wise, has been very effective for the Aztecs this season.
Was a storyline for this team last season as well, Aaron. They had 3 rookie corners, still helped them win 1 playoff game before, and they ended up losing to Baltimore in the quarterfinal round, one of the most epic postseason games that I've ever had the privilege of being a part of, and Mexico City gave the eventual champs all they could handle in that game. Charleston also a winner in the postseason last year, defeating Los Angeles in the first round before losing in the second, and now these 2 teams have to match up in the first round here in season 18. Every team that you will see playing in the SFL playoffs today and tomorrow coming in with 7 and 5 records. Remarkable. So very little between any of these 8 teams. On the ground they'll go. Phoenix Jones with the carry and a pickup of 2.
Yeah, Phoenix Jones trying to make something work on the ground, which I think makes sense for Mexico City. They don't want to shift to being a one-dimensional offense here. Getting back to last postseason, though, for both of these teams, you mentioned the losses to Jacksonville and Baltimore. Both of those losses for both Charleston and Mexico City, just a 1-point difference in those losses for both of these teams.
Yeah, these 2 teams have been there and done that in recent history, even though Charleston did not have a ton of playoff success before recently, but as of late, they have. Now they're trying to win postseason games in consecutive seasons for the first time in franchise history. They're in the postseason for the 2nd straight year for the first time in franchise history. Nothing doing on 2nd down, and now Wilson will spread it out on 3rd and 8. Look at Charleston packing the line in response. Wilson over the middle, open, caught, first down, Aztecs. Right across midfield, they needed 8, they got 10. First catch of the day for Nick Lockett.
Yeah, and I think it was just a bit of a bad defensive play call there for Charleston. They had sent the free safety Josh Reese on a bit of a blitz there, try and give some pressure to Matt Wilson. Unfortunately, that left the middle of the field a bit too open for the Aztecs there, and it results in that Aztec first down in Charleston territory.
2nd round pick Nick Lockett out of Annapolis makes his first career postseason catch. Mexico City back on the ground. It's Bentley this time, no gain. So here is the offense for Ramos Lynn, the head coach, offensive coordinator, owner, and do everything, man, for the Mexico City Aztecs. Matt Wilson, the Hall of Fame quarterback in his 13th season with this franchise. Phoenix Jones is the tailback. Ray Bentley is the fullback. On the ground they'll go. Nice run. Cut back and a gain of 4 for Bentley, who already has his 3rd carry of the day. Wide receivers, there's 5 of them. Jacob McCall, Nick Lockett, Jason Bartley, Orain Darby, and TT Crystal. And 2 tight ends, Mike Daggs and Bill Henry. And the kicker is Cole Varner. So 7 standout pass catchers, not even counting the tailbacks, for Matt Wilson to throw to here in his 13th season in the SFL. Need to target one of them here on 3rd and 6. Wilson dodges back again, zips it over the middle, and again it's caught. Mexico City has been lethal on 3rd downs today. 2nd 3rd down catch for Jason Bartley.
Yeah, and again, it's another case of Matt Wilson is just getting the ball out of his hand so quickly once his receivers develop their routes downfield. We talk about 3rd down conversions. Mexico City currently 2 of 3 at the moment on 3rd down.
They're 61% on 3rd down in the regular season, 3rd best in the league. From the 29, Wilson right sideline, wide open, caught, touchdown Aztecs. Jacob McCall is into the end zone.
Yeah, the leading receiver as far as yardage here, Jacob McCall, gets his first of the game. And it's a big one for Mexico City, 29 yards to the end zone. And Mexico City now finds itself up 2 scores here incredibly early on in this ball game.
Something that I've seen over the last couple of years for this Charleston defense, Aaron, they've got the more veteran presence as compared to Mexico City. They're such a great defense in all phases, but sometimes they give up those big plays, and you target Johnny Bravo, who's the 7th-year corner, the most veteran member of this secondary for Charleston, and they were sending an extra blitzer as well on that play, and McCall was left wide open.
Yeah, but to Charleston's credit, there's a reason that Mexico City has been to the playoffs for 12 straight seasons, 13 all-time, both currently SFL records. And it's plays and drives like we've seen so far, these first 2 drives from Mexico City, that make it clear as day why they've had the success that they've had, especially in the postseason.
You saw those numbers at the bottom of your screen. A fantastic start for Matt Wilson. 7 of his first 8 for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. And his 1 incompletion, Aaron, was that one where he had to go about face and hightail it away and then throw it out of the sideline unless he took his 2nd straight sack. Other than that, he has completed every pass. They've been great on 3rd down, as we outlined. It's been a dream start for Mexico City.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not really a lot of quarterbacks that I can think of offhand here in the SFL that are able to get good passes off if they have to roll out and throw the ball on the run.
No doubt. And Matt Wilson has been one of the best for pretty much his whole career. Here goes Keith Swearingen. Charleston trying to right the ship as they now trail by 2 scores. So here is the offense for the Preds, for Jacob Clear, who's in his 2nd season as the head coach of this team. Kentez Johnson is the quarterback. Keith Swearingen the tailback. Terrell Sutherland is the fullback. 3 wideouts, Buchanan Simons, Ken McCarrow, and Jay Taylor. 2 tight ends, Lyric Da Vinci and Dusty Roark. And the offensive line is anchored by left guard Dusty Wilson, off-season acquisition from the Sioux Falls Sparrows. 2nd nice run for Swearingen, 2 in the backfield, but Johnson will throw. Looking this way, quick zip, out route caught by Lyric Da Vinci. He will accelerate down the sideline, only Menefield to beat, and Menefield is able to wrestle him down from behind on 1 play. Charleston inside the red zone.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about explosive tight ends, this game has 2 of the all-time best, of course, Mike Daggs for Mexico City, but also Lyric Da Vinci here for the Charleston Predators. This season averages 16.2 yards a grab, good for 15th among all pass catchers in the SFL this season.
That was something that stood out to me as well. Exactly 600 receiving yards this year, despite only 37 catches in that excellent average, like you said. That one good for 51, and the Preds flip the field immediately. From the 20, Johnson throws over the middle, touchdown, Preds, Ken McCarrow.
Yeah, Ken McCarrow, again, the 2nd most favorite target as far as total catches for both TD Drew and Kentez Johnson this season for Charleston. McCarrow led the team in receiving touchdowns, gets another one here, and puts Charleston back within 1 score before the end of the 1st quarter.
8th season in the SFL, 6th with this Charleston franchise for Ken Maccaro, and this 6th season has been his best. 916 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. That leads the team, like Aaron said, but both of those are a personal best wearing a Preds uniform. It's his first ever time with more than 900 receiving yards. He had only 12 total touchdowns in his first 5 seasons playing in South Carolina. He's got 7 here, and now make it 8 all told. Brad Breckett hits the PAT. The Preds with 2 quick strikes through the air, Aaron. That's not something we see a lot from this team, and they're right back in it.
Yeah, no, Charleston definitely has typically employed a much more reserved passing style, except in the off occasion where they'll send Buchanan Simons out on these long streaking routes. But this time they decide to change it up a bit and send both Lyric Da Vinci and Ken Maccaro on those streaks, and they work to great effect here on that drive for Charleston, which again puts them within 1 score of Mexico City here with 2.5 to go here in the first quarter.
It certainly seems like over the years, Buchanan Simons has been the guy they dial up if they need a big play, but he's been largely absent in this offense. It's been hard to switch horses midstream for the Preds on offense, and even though Kentez has had some success, he has about twice as many passing yards in his 7 games than TD Drew had in his 5, but it's not been a perfect season, especially not for Simons, but a great start for Maccaro. Wilson over the middle and out of the reach of Lockett. Tried to make a one-armed grab that you see a lot in the SFL. He got smacked from behind.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the inexperience may have played a bit of a factor there. As you see, at least 3 Predators jerseys in the area, and being a newer receiver here in the SFL, when you start hearing 3 or 4 different sets of footsteps coming up behind you, it's enough to rattle your psyche to drop a ball like that, even if you're trying to catch that ball two-handed, let alone one.
And even, I said, got hit from behind, really got hit from all directions. Like you said, heard footsteps coming from all different places. Was not able to make a tough catch. Second down, Wilson tosses it out to Phoenix Jones, breaks out of the first tackle, and then is ushered out of bounds after a gain of 5. So we mentioned the youth for this Mexico City defense. Not the case for Charleston. Veterans all over the place. The defensive line, Chris Joseph, John Lally, Joseph Cebulka, and Robert Cherry. The linebackers, such a great group. Jack Brown and Jack Hoffman and Eric Hammer, the newcomer. And the secondary, the corners, Corey Menner, Johnny Bravo, and Jacob Clear. And the safeties, John Stamengo, Josh Reese, and Sam Blotner, the rookie. Another third down for Mexico City. Wilson zips it, intended for Bartley, and that is swatted away. Great coverage by Corey Menner, who had a standout season, the best of his career last year en route to an all-star appearance. Another good season for him this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting back real quick, though, to that experience you mentioned for Charleston, just taking a look at the roster, there's only 4 players with less than 3 years of experience on this Predators team, those being the sophomores, the fullback Terrell Sutherland, the defensive end John Lally, who we've already seen his presence today, and then there's 5, the 3 rookies, Robert Cherry, Sam Blotner, the backup free safety, and Dusty Rourke, the second tight end.
Yeah, and Jacob Clear, the general manager, had to do a lot of work to reshape this Charleston defense in the offseason. 2 of those rookies, as you mentioned, and 2 newcomers, Chris Joseph, defensive end, and Eric Hammer, the linebacker. But even with a couple of new faces at all levels, they have not missed a beat. The Preds have been one of the best defenses in the SFL this season, all told, in terms of points, rushing yards, total yards, and that has been as usual for this team. They have been one of the best defenses for years, just as Mexico City has been one of the best offenses for years. And speaking of holdovers, Keith Swearingen, one of the best tailbacks for the last few years with a gain of 9.
Yeah, big gain there for the 8-year man who's played his entire career here with the Predators. And, a great job by this offensive line and the sophomore fullback Terrell Sutherland on the blocking scheme there, opening up the hole for Keith Swearingen to get through. And, of course, Swearingen with some elusive moves of his own in order to get some extra yardage after initial contact for the Predators, bringing up this short second down.
Our statisticians, Justin Rasine and Mark Lopez, telling us that was the first failed third down conversion attempt for Mexico City. They were 3 of their first 3, so the first punt of the day for the Aztecs. Swearingen gets the give again, but the Aztecs are ready for that one. Great hit in the backfield by Gerard Brody.
Yeah, the Aztecs not as well known for their defense. The rush defense, though, one of the top 10 here in the SFL, and average yards per game of 92 on the ground. Good for 8th so far this season.
Not known for it nearly as much as Charleston has, no doubt, but they've been good this year. There's a great throw from Kentez Johnson, and the first catch today for Buchanan Simons all the way to the 31.
Yeah, Buchanan Simons, arguably the most explosive playmaker here for the Predators that we've seen in the past. And a prime example there. That one, a long post route, good for 24 yards, and puts Charleston just 10, 11 yards away, let's say, from the Mexico City red zone to try and tie this ball game up before the end of the first quarter here.
55 catches in the regular season for Simons. That's about par for the course for him, but only 660 receiving yards, a new career low for his time in Charleston. Johnson under pressure, avoids the first hit, but not the second. And guess who's at the scene of the crime? Dan Tritz, who has been one of the best D tackles in the SFL for all 3 seasons that he's been a part of it.
Yeah, Dan Tritz, the third-year man, 2-time All-Star, has proven to be one of the best defensive tackles.
No doubt. All-Star appearances in his first 2 years. And we're done with the first quarter. Mexico City with 2 early strikes, but Charleston has battled back and they're on the move. This is the SFL postseason presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Welcome back to Fort Moultrie Memorial Stadium in Charleston. Alongside Aaron Alexander, I'm Tim Hackett. Game 2 of 4 of Wild Card Weekend. Kentez Johnson throws right sideline, and it's swatted away by Jermaine Menefield. That brings up 3rd down and very long. And Aaron, this is something that I've seen from Menefield now his 2nd season as the number 2 corner for Mexico City. He's kind of a boomer bust corner at times. He makes plays. He's now swatted 16 passes this season. That's crazy. Sometimes he's prone to give up those big plays, though.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, let's say, for Jermaine Menefield. He has the 4th highest pass deflections in the league coming into this game.
Target him again, and Menefield
another
has
one there.
Yeah, great coverage by Menefield. So much for the bust. That's back-to-back booms for the second-year corner, one-on-one against the biggest boom receiver that we talked about, Buchanan Simons. Blanket coverage, 4th down.
Yeah, as I was about to say about Menefield, though, sometimes going for those pass deflections can kind of bite him in the behind as, the ball will just fly over his outstretched arm and directly into the hands of its intended target.
No question about it, and that's something that we've seen from him even in the postseason over the last couple of years. As punt away from Cody Murphy, bounces a couple of times and rolls backward. A cue shot from Cody Murphy, picked up perfectly by the Preds. Mexico City will have to start at the 3.
Yeah, an absolutely beautiful chip shot there. It's going to start Mexico City in the shadow of its own end zone. And with how good this defensive line has been for Charleston, there's an entire possibility that we see our first safety in the postseason here.
6 combined rushes for Jones and Bentley, but 4 for the fullback Ray Bentley in that first quarter. So Wilson will throw on a quick out. Lockett has 5, and that gives Mexico City a little more breathing room. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website, www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Now they will run it on second down. Here's Jones, sidesteps and gets a couple, tackled by Chris Joseph.
Yeah, the powerful rush defense of Charleston making its presence known there on that attempt by Phoenix Jones. He's only got 4 yards so far on the ground on just 3 carries, but makes up for it with 24 yards on 3 grabs through the air.
Remember, Charleston, #1 rush defense in the SFL, just 63 yards allowed per game. Third down again for the Aztecs. Wilson ducks, fires. Mike Daggs has his first catch, and he's still going out across midfield. He breaks a tackle, accelerates inside the 40-yard line. Another big flip of field, this time from the Aztecs tight end.
Yeah, the birthday man himself, Mike Daggs here, getting his first grab on the day, and that one directly matches the one we saw earlier from Lyric Da Vinci. 51 yards after breaking that initial contact. An absolute great play here by Mike Daggs.
There was a time earlier this season that Mexico City really had a 3-headed monster on offense. Bartley, McCall, and Daggs. But now really it's a 2-horse race. Daggs has been left in the dust in terms of production by Bartley and McCall. But a 51-yard grab for him there as Wilson's pass is somehow intercepted by Reese. It took a double deflection and ends up in the hands of the safety.
Yeah, Josh Reese a bit more subdued in this Charleston defense that was 3rd in the league in total takeaways, but was, well productive in the pass deflection field. That one, though, goes his way, good for his 4th interception all time, and Charleston now looking to try and flip their fortunes here after that interception.
Well, so much for the double deflection with the ball. It was just a bunch of bodies hitting each other. It ends up right in Reese's hands. First down from the 30. Johnson looking for a big play and great coverage again. He was open. That was Simons. But this time it is Charbs, the safety, with a great hit to jar the ball away.
Yeah, Simons attempting that flashy one-handed grab that we see all too often here in the SFL, and Charbs with the wherewithal to get a powerful hit off onto Simons to pop that ball out of his hands before he can get control of it. A great play by the safety there to prevent that play from going large.
Would have been a 20-plus yard grab for Simons. Would have been his 2nd of that variety so far today, but not so, says Ben Charbs, who led the team with 115 tackles this season. Good for 5th in the SFL after he had just 126 total over his first 2 years. On the ground they go, stretching outside. Swearingen spin move, and Swearingen picks up 7, tackled by the veteran Jeffrey Daggs.
Yeah, and a good call by Charleston there. They had a bit of a trips look at the top of your screen, a bit more of a spread look, trying to lean Mexico City toward guarding the pass. And of course, Charleston goes for that stretch play. Definitely could have gone for more if Swearingen was able to break out of that tackle.
Charleston just one of its first 4 on 3rd down. They have a 3rd and 3 here. Johnson steps, throws into traffic, and somehow caught by Da Vinci. More great coverage by Mexico City, but a throw on the dot by Kentez Johnson.
Yeah, Kentez Johnson, shifts out of the pocket a little bit. Predicting some pressure coming from the defensive line of Mexico City, sees Lyric Da Vinci, makes that shot, that soft step up in the pocket, and throws an absolutely beautiful ball into the hands of his tight end.
Of 22 for Da Vinci, who's got 73 receiving yards and just 2 grabs. Swearingen the give here and a gain of just 2. So here is the Mexico City defense for head coach and D coordinator Ramos Lynn. The line, Dan Tritz, Skylar Kingsley, and Angela Meerkat, the rookie. Linebackers, Dexter Jackson, Ronnie Watson, and Matt Anderson. And the secondary, it's very young as we outlined. The corners, Gerard Brody and Jermaine Menefield. The safeties, Jeffrey Daggs, 9th-year veteran, Ben Charbs, and a pair of rookies, Derek Meerkat and Liam Ryan. Johnson is all day again. He'll toss it out. Swearingen accelerates, lowers the shoulder, and gets the first down. There was nobody within a few yards of Swearingen when he made that catch.
Yeah, and Swearingen with his first grab of the day there, and it's been yardage-wise, it's been a bit of a battle between both of these quarterbacks, but as far as completions, though, Kentez Johnson with that only 6 of 13 so far in the game, whereas Matt Wilson has been much more effective at completing passes. He's 10 for 14 so far.
Not a surprise necessarily when looking at great observation, but not a surprise when you look at it over the balance of the season. Johnson south of 70% completion percentage, and Wilson at about 73.5. That's a top 10 mark in the league. Gain a fresh set of downs, rather, as Terrell Sutherland makes his first catch of the day. Fullback that's not used very much this season, Aaron, and he gets a touch here, no gain.
Yeah, Sutherland used a lot differently in his rookie season than he has been so far in this one, taking more of that blocking fullback role as opposed to the second receiving threat. That one just his 11th total touch on the season.
25 touches last season. And to your point, as Johnson links up again with Buchanan Simons, nice zip gain of 8.
Yeah, and that pass there is something we don't typically see out of Charleston. Buchanan Simons going on that shorter route. Typically, we'll see Buchanan Simons a deep downfield, but a good change of pace there for Charleston brings up a short third down here for them.
A strong game so far for Simons. Just his second catch, but 32 receiving yards, and he's been a focal point. 3rd down and 2. Johnson, no drop, throws over the middle, had 2 receivers there, and one of them makes the catch. He gets stuck at the 11-yard line. It is Macaro, who's a little slow to get up, but another 3rd down conversion on this drive for the Predators.
Yeah, another one of those quick hit passes by Charleston. A great call on 3rd down. The no drop directly into the hands of his receiver puts Charleston back in the Mexico City red zone, just 11 yards from pay dirt.
Reds could get a first down if they get inside the 1. Johnson, a deep drop this time, looking this way, and another quick pass. Jay Taylor has his first catch of the afternoon. Rookie Derek Meerkat with the quick stop. No yards after catch that time for Taylor, who's had a really strong year.
Yeah, that first grab there by Jay Taylor, good for 6. Puts Charleston ever closer to breaching the surface of the end zone.
6 receiving touchdowns this year for Taylor, the converted tight end. From the 5, here goes Swearingen trying to crack outside and pushed down from behind by Dexter Jackson, another converted player. He used to be an outside backer, moved inside this year, 81 tackles for him there, and this season an important one for him there.
Yeah, as we take a look at the drive so far, 10 plays, 68 yards here for Charleston, now just 2 yards outside of the end zone. They do have a chance for a fresh set of downs here. They only need a yard for that, though.
Coming up on 5 minutes left in the first half. Johnson, the give to Keith Swearingen, and Swearingen is starting to run. Charleston is battled all the way back, a PAT away from a tie.
Yeah, and an unfortunate situation there for Mexico City. They had a chance to potentially stop in the backfield. Unfortunately, the pursuit by Dimitri Darby, the backup defensive tackle, just not able to keep up with the veteran that is Keith Swearingen. And Charleston finally gets some more breathing room, some more oxygen in the lungs as they look to tie up this game here with just 5 minutes to go in the half.
67 career rushing touchdowns for Keith Swearingen, top 15 all time, and he's close to 9,000 rushing yards. Would it be just one of 15 players all time to reach that mark as well? Another PAT from Brad Breckett is up and good. Mexico City scores twice early. Charleston now battles back, answers with 2 straight scoring drives of their own, answering the 2 from Mexico City. And once again, a postseason game in the SFL has been good so far. Are we surprised?
Absolutely not at all.
The first game... Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, especially with how these two teams have played this season, it's absolutely no surprise, especially with Charleston handing the #1 seed Vancouver their only loss this season. That was back in week 4.
Yeah, Charleston was the only team to beat Vancouver this regular season. I knew we would talk about this at some point because Mexico City very nearly could have beaten Vancouver themselves if not for a goal line stand in the final seconds by Mark Lopez, keeping the Aztecs out of the end zone. That would have given them the win. Instead, Vancouver is able to win that game, and they go 11-1 and earn the #1 seed. They've been fantastic. Of course, Vancouver this season, unsurprisingly, one of the best teams in the SFL over the last few years, as has Mexico City, but the 11 seed this year, now tied for just the second time, as Wilson tries to zip it in, and Corey Menner with a great stop.
Yeah, absolutely great awareness there by Corey Menner, who, just taking a look back at the history, is the only player on either of these teams that was playing for their current team back in that season 16 matchup that had a total of 8 turnovers between the two teams. So the veteran presence making his presence known with that deflection there.
Really could argue that Corey Menner has burst onto the scene last year and this year to become one of the best corners in the SFL. Very little gain there on second down. And going in, that was Phoenix Jones on the carry. Going into last season, Aaron, I think you could make the argument that Menner was the third most famous corner on this Preds defense. I don't know about third highest paid, but third most famous behind Johnny Bravo and Jacob Clear, and he comes out and has by far the best season of any of them, makes the All-Star game for the first time in his career, and now he's a #1 corner, no question about it. 3rd down and 9. Wilson will go over the middle and right into the hands of John Stamango. Speaking of career season, 10 interceptions this regular season. Stamango picks one off in the playoffs.
Yeah, make that number 11. Not only does he have a league 6th best interceptions total so far with 10 in the regular season, also was able to return one of those for a touchdown, tied for 8th in the league with the sophomore Gerard Brody and the rookie Derek Meerkat over on the Mexico City side.
Career year for John Stamango, who had just 6 interceptions total over his first 2 seasons, and now 11 counting the postseason here. Everything going the Preds' way recently as Swearingen rumbles up the middle and picks up 6.
Yeah, since the 14 unanswered early in the first by Mexico City, the pendulum has been firmly on the side of the Charleston Predators. That's their 2nd turnover that they've had so far. The last one they turned into a 70-yard drive for a touchdown that tied up this ball game, and now with a chance to score again here before halftime.
Back-to-back interceptions for Wilson as Swearingen tries to cut back. Nothing doing there. Stopped by Jackson. So Mexico City scores touchdowns on its first 2 possessions of the game. Since then, punts, interception for the Aztecs. They've really run aground against this stout Preds defense. Slow start for them, obviously, giving up those 2 quick scoring drives, but we knew that this defense wouldn't be down for long, and they've now given their offense the opportunity to take the lead for the first time today. 3rd down and 3 for Kentez Johnson. Over the middle, wide open is Da Vinci. He gets clamped down immediately by Matt Anderson, but a gain of 4 on 3rd down and 3, and another first down for Charleston.
Yeah, and another great 3rd down conversion here for the Predators. I'm telling you, I don't know what Jacob Clear fed this team between the 1st and 2nd quarter, but Charleston has looked like a completely different team since the 2nd quarter started.
No question about it. They've looked really good. From the 35, Johnson this way, caught again by Buchanan Simons. A big reason for that 1st to 2nd quarter turnaround as he's gotten more involved and, more importantly, been able to catch the passes that have been thrown his way. Not all his fault by any means, but targeted a lot. You saw right there 7 targets, most of any player today, and now his 3rd catch.
Yeah, the next highest as far as total looks is Jason Bartley over in Mexico City, and even still, he's only 2 for 6, so it's been very rough for these receivers in this ball game so far.
Of rough, Swearingen then gets a rough shot from Dexter Jackson, again, former outside linebacker, but a vacancy at middle linebacker this year, so in he moves. Ronnie Watson third year now as the #1 outside backer. And to fill the void, Matt Anderson joins the mix, third-round pick from Memphis. There are a ton of young players, especially on this defense from Mexico City. 4 rookies. Third down again. Johnson lofts it up and swatted away. No rookie there. Jeffrey Daggs, his 8th season playing for the team south of the border. Another pass deflection for the 3-time All-Star 4th down.
Yeah, and I can't really blame Kentez Johnson for floating that ball like he did. If that ball gets over the hand of Jeffrey Daggs, that one straight in the hands of Buchanan Simons, and Charleston finds themselves up a touchdown here, just shy of the 2-minute warning. Instead, though, we're going to see Brad Bretchett come on here for a 47-yard field goal attempt to put them up by 3 here before 2 minutes left.
In perfect season, second-year kicking for the Predators. Brad Bretchett has this one up and good from 46. A bullet, no problem with that one. Just 86% on his field goals this season. Sounds really good, but 19th best in the SFL this season for Bretchett. Now he drills it from 46, and the Preds have the lead for the first time today. 17 unanswered by the home team as we hit the 2-minute warning in the first half. This is the Simulation Football League presented by ATM Music on Next Level Sports. "17 unanswered points by the home team, including a 10-0 edge here in the second quarter, and Charleston has the lead for the first time here at home. Jeffrey Daggs, one of the best return men in SFL history, can only get to the 22-yard line. The SFL convention is coming to the Las Vegas Strip July 10th through 12th. HyperX Esports Arena at the Luxor will host the season kickoff, featuring all 28 teams in action, live commentary throughout the day, every game on the big screens, and your chance to be introduced to the world as a football star. Room rates are just $80 per night stay. Visit www.simulationfl.net/convention for more information and to reserve your room. Kickoff for season 19 just a few months away, but first, the playoffs as Phoenix Jones with his best run, bruising forward for a gain of 13.
Yeah, Phoenix Jones finally able to get something big going after the stalwart defense that is the Charleston Predators has held him pretty much in check these first 2 quarters. And boy, does Mexico City really need it right now, being down 3 here with just a minute and a half to go.
After 5 rushing yards in his first 4 attempts. Big run for him there. Now they will throw it to Phoenix Jones. Puts out the stiff arm and gets 7 through the sky. That was a key to success for you earlier, Aaron. For as good as this Charleston defense is, obviously they are better against the run than they are against the pass. Number 1 against the run, as we've mentioned before, but 17th against the pass. Even though they've only allowed 20 passing touchdowns, that's 4th fewest. Mexico City has already hit them twice for touchdowns here today through the air.
Yeah, it's also worth noting, too, that the rush defense seems to be keyed in on Phoenix Jones, who gets the ball here yet again on that one. But the runs that we saw from Ray Bentley have gone, especially early on, a lot longer than the Phoenix Jones run did prior to these past 2 runs.
And so, yeah, then to your point, Charleston is able to rally. Back-to-back good runs for Jones. Nothing doing that time. Stamango and a couple of other Preds were there. Gain of just 2. They'll hurry it up. They go to Jones again. Much different-looking drive here for Mexico City. Better result there. Gain of 6.
Yeah, I think they're trying to wear out this Charleston defense with these runs.
We'll run it again, but now Jones maybe started to get worn out. Needed 3, but only got 2, and the Aztecs will have to call a timeout.
Yeah, and with 43 seconds left to go here and being in Charleston territory, I think Mexico City is going to go for it here. It's possible we'll see the old bait and switch, as we like to call it here, try and pull Charleston off sides. But if you're Mexico City, you snap this ball.
You call the timeout. You've got to bring the offense back out there, and they will snap it. No bait and switch. Top of the screen, wide open. First down. Derek Noger, the number 3 tight end on this Mexico City offense, comes through.
Yeah, and a much-needed grab by the 3rd tight end there.
Open again, but instead Wilson will go up top, and a big catch for Jason Bartley. Timeout Mexico City inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, a big 4th down conversion by the number 3 tight end, followed by a huge catch into the hands of their number 1 wide receiver to get them inside of the 10-yard line. And with just about 20 seconds left to go here, Mexico City is going to try and look to go up by 4 here going into the half.
Bartley gets 30 on that out. Deep fly from Wilson inside the 10 now as Mexico City tries to rally, trailing for the first time this afternoon. Play action. Wilson this way, diving, falling catch really by Daggs, who then tries to get up, and he's a yard short of pay dirt.
I think we'll see Phoenix Jones on the run here, though.
Back they go. 10 seconds left. Again, play action, though, to Jones. Wilson back of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Aztecs. 3rd passing touchdown today for Matt Wilson. And this time he finds Bill Henry. If it's not Daggs, it's Henry this season, the number 2 tight end with his 7th grab.
Yeah, both of these tight ends very, very well used by Mexico City. The 2 highest as far as receiving touchdowns among the pass catchers here for the Aztecs. Daggs with his 8, good for 10th in the league. Bill Henry, though, no slouch himself. He had 6 in the regular season. That one good for 7. He was 22nd in the league this regular season here, as Mexico City now, with 6 seconds left to go, finds themselves with the lead yet again, finally answering those 17 points of Charleston.
Mexico City snaps out of that funk for sure, and like we said, Charleston only allowed 20 passing touchdowns this regular season, 4th fewest in the league, but Mexico City scored the 3rd most passing touchdowns, helmed, of course, by Matt Wilson. He's got a hat trick already, 3 passing touchdowns to 3 different players. You mentioned it, the 2 tight ends, Daggs and Henry. Not a ton of receiving yards for either of those 2 guys, especially not for Daggs by his standards, but 14 receiving touchdowns for those 2 guys combined, more than the rest of the pass catchers combined in the regular season. 2 seconds left in the first half, Aaron. Any chance that Charleston does anything special here?
I mean, we've seen time and time again in situations like this, Charleston will load up the cannon that is Buchanan Simons with a deep streak downfield, and if he's able to get around whatever coverage he has on him, he's typically going to score here. It looks like instead, though, they're going to keep it safe, keep it on the ground here
they will throw out of that formation. I saw what you saw, and Johnson will just get another completion. It's another catch for Lyric Da Vinci, but that will end the first half. Mexico City rallies They score after Charleston scores 17 unanswered, and the Aztecs, with that late strike, they have the lead at the half. Mexico City 21, Charleston 17. Coming up on the 8 p.m. Music Halftime Report, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green will break down the first half between these two squads, plus discuss the races for Most Valuable Player, Rookies of the Year, and so much more over a game of Hollywood Squares SFL Edition. It's all coming up on the 8 p.m. Music Halftime Report. I'm looking forward to that. With a tease like that, it doesn't get any better. But speaking of not getting any better, Aaron Alexander, before we meet them, your thoughts on a great first half?
I mean, a part of me expected this exact scenario coming into this, with just how up-tempo both of these offenses can be, especially Mexico City being the third best offense in the regular season. But you know, to Charleston's points, they're still very, very much within this game. 17 unanswered points before Mexico City is able to score here just before halftime. And you know, if statistics are to be believed, the second half of this game is bound to be just as, if not more, explosive from both Mexico City and Charleston.
Mexico City closes that first half more or less on a 10-play, 78-yard drive. Wilson was 6 of 6 for 63 yards on that drive, punctuated by the touchdown pass to Bill Henry. Here's the touchdown from Keith Swearingen that ultimately tied the game. Wilson threw those 2 picks in the first half, Aaron. Still a quarterback rating north of 100. He had the 4th best figure in that stat this season. He's been brilliant today. Charleston, despite those 2 interceptions, it feels has had little to answer for.
Yeah, and I think it's just because of how Charleston's passing game has gone. Kenton Johnson, despite being just south of 200 yards, he's only 13 of 21 so far on the day. Has only had the one passing touchdown to Matt Wilson's 3. So despite the interceptions, the reason Matt Wilson has the advantage in QBR is just his overall completion percentage, and technically they have the same touchdown interception ratio.
Brilliant first half, Mexico City on top. We'll send you to the studio. Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green. That's next. SFL presented by 8 p.m. Music on Next Level Sports. Underway in the second half of play. Welcome back to Fort Moultrie Memorial Stadium alongside Aaron Alexander in the booth. I'm Tim Hackett, Mark Lopez, and Justin Reside in the stat truck, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green in the studio. Fantastic first half, and are we surprised? Mexico City goes up 14-0. Charleston then scores the next 17 straight, including the first 10 of the second quarter. But Matt Wilson to Bill Henry, a late strike, has given the Aztecs the lead. Now the Aztecs will start with the ball. Deep throw from Wilson, and he's picked off for the third time today. Josh Reese has his second hit at the end of the run by Jason Bartley, and a great start for the Preds on defense.
Yeah, can we give credit to Josh Reese on this interception, though? Just look at the absolute hang time he gets on this jump in order to get this interception, and it's an incredibly clean one too for Reese, who picks up interception number 5 overall this season. And the half has just started and it's already electric.
One of the best things about this Charleston defense, and there are plenty of good things about this Charleston defense, but one of their best is their takeaway ability. 35 takeaways this regular season, third best in the league and best in franchise history. Swearingen with the spin move, another spin move, and he's off to the races. What a run! 33-yard touchdown for Keith Swearingen. Charleston has the lead.
Yeah, Swearingen diving deep into his bag of tricks there, and comes up absolutely massive, looking like an orca jumping out of the ocean with just an absolute beautiful spin cycle on multiple Mexico City defenders in order to break away and score a very, very quick 6 here in this second half for the Predators.
In the past history of this league, Aaron, they call him the swear engine that could, and now the swear engine is starting to rev it up. That was one of the best runs that I've seen this season. A killer move from cool Keith Swearingen, his second rushing touchdown today, and the Preds have an early lead.
Yeah, and
Unreal.
Absolutely, and it definitely is something that you want to see out of Charleston. Especially after giving up that interception late in the second quarter, after getting an absolute gift by their defense, courtesy of Josh Reese. And Charleston now finds himself with that 3-point lead they had yet again just prior to the 2-minute warning.
Aaron, I know
in the first.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm no analyst in this league, Aaron. Then I'll throw it back over to you. But something that I've noticed over my 4 seasons here, points off turnovers are keys to this game and success in this league. Good return for Dags out to the 26. Mexico City has thrown 3 interceptions from Matt Wilson. That was the latest, that Swearingen touchdown run. Charleston has scored off of all 3 Wilson interceptions. 17 points off turnovers in this game for the Preds.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the reason that not only does Charleston have the lead right now, but they're in this game is those 17 points off of turnovers. Without that, this is a 21-7 game in favor of Mexico City.
No reason that's what's kept the Preds in this game, and more importantly, giving them the lead. Another risky throw, another interception. That's number 2 for Stamengo. This Preds secondary and these safeties have been all over the Hall of Famer Matt Wilson.
Yeah, and it's been the 2 safeties, Josh Reese and John Stamengo, that have been the absolute how do I word this? Gasoline for this Charleston defense, both of them now with a pair of interceptions to their credit. And this one gives Charleston even better field position in order to try and extend this lead even further here. And we've barely hit 2 minutes into the quarter.
What can Kentez do now? We haven't even played 1 minute really in the quarter. Well, that's a drop from Simons. The throw a little bit behind him really from Kentez, but something that Simons needs to have, and it's second down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now that you mention it, it's only been 30 seconds in this third quarter, and we've already seen Matt Wilson throw 2 interceptions. We've seen Swearingen with an absolute beautiful run for 7 after that first one. Here we see the second interception inside of 30 seconds, and unfortunately the first play on this drive for Charleston ends up with a drop by Buchanan Simons, but still a great situation for Charleston here early in the third quarter.
I said right at the halftime break that the Preds have had no answer for Matt Wilson. Well, now they have. Their two safeties. Simons makes that catch, and then it's ruled a fumble. It's picked up by Ronnie Watson, and then he's hit as he tries to get up and run. We see this a lot in the SFL, Aaron. Catch, immediate hit, and then a fumble by Buchanan Simons. This could turn the tide right back.
Yeah, absolutely unfortunate situation here. We see the fumble caused by... I can pull up my information here. That was the free safety, Derek Meerkat, the rookie, getting the forced fumble there. So a turnover again goes to a safety on one of these defenses, and Mexico City finally catches a break after a turnover, forcing one of their own here, not allowing Charleston to score.
Great call by you. The safeties continue to get involved. That time, the rookie, Derek Meerkat, Mexico City's third-round pick, Mexico City's first takeaway. And now Phoenix Jones with a nice catch and a gain of about 16 out to the 46-yard line. Stamango again lays the wood on him, but a nice gain for Jones. The first time that Charleston does not score off of a takeaway, and instead, they turn the ball over themselves.
Yeah, and I think it's smart here for Matt Wilson to turn his gaze toward Phoenix Jones out of the backfield as a pass catcher. He's proven to be nigh unstoppable. His 6 grabs going for 62 yards, a team best so far in this game. And these short passes, I think, are going to be key to Mexico City's success moving forward, limiting the turnovers by Matt Wilson.
Wilson instead will go deep right after they set the tone with that short throw. They go deep over the middle, and Nick Lockett has a big gain inside the 35.
And commentator's curse strikes yet again. This time, instead of going short like I expected, they go deep into the hands of the rookie Nick Lockett, who is able to bring that one down. A very, very soft set of hands on the rookie there. Puts Mexico City into Charleston territory after 2 straight turnovers by his quarterback.
Gain of 20 for the rookie Nick Lockett. Wilson has all day now. Pocket collapses. He'll throw it short to Jones, and he can't wrench out of that tackle by Jack Hoffman. Jack Hoffman and Jack Brown have been running mates here for Charleston now for 6 straight seasons. They're easy to remember. The 2 Jacks, the linebackers, they actually switched roles. Brown used to be the outside backer, Hoffman on the inside. This year they swap roles. There's a look at Hoffman right there, and it's worked out great for him. It's been kind of a quiet season relatively for Hoffman, but this linebacker trio is excellent. Second down, first run in a while for Jones, and he is stopped up again by Jack Hoffman. Back-to-back stops for him.
Yeah, this front 4 of Charleston making itself known on that one, getting the push needed for this linebacking core of Jack, and Hammer in order to stop Phoenix Jones after just a 1-yard gain. It does bring up 3rd and short, though, but Charleston more than capable of stopping Mexico City here.
Third down, they will go to Ray Bentley, his first carry since the first quarter, and the Hall of Fame former tailback has a first down for Mexico City. They're in the red zone.
Of course, commentator's curse rears its ugly head yet again there. Mexico City goes to the fullback, Ray Bentley, who I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. The runs by Ray Bentley have gone so much better than the Phoenix Jones runs have gone for the most part that I'm surprised they don't keep handing the ball off to him.
And, well, you can chalk up the curse for the other direction there, Aaron, and point back for you because they go to Phoenix Jones there, and he has nothing doing. A loss of 1 for John Stamango, who had 2 TFLs in the regular season.
Yeah, and again, just another reason why I think Mexico City should start using Ray Bentley as their primary running back more than Phoenix Jones and continue to utilize Jones out of the backfield.
0 running back set here for Wilson, and that throw is too far. Daggs and Bartley were both in the vicinity for Mexico City, but too much zip that time on the throw from Wilson.
Yeah, very, very rare overthrow by Matt Wilson on that pass there. Luckily, they didn't have any corners back in any deep zone to pick that ball off. But definitely not what you want if you're Mexico City, is now they're facing a 3rd and long situation here.
They were fantastic on 3rd downs in the first half. What can they do here on 3rd and 11? Another empty set. Wilson, penalty flags fly as Wilson gets taken down by Eric Hammer, the 3rd member of this linebacker crew that we mentioned. He did not have a sack in the regular season, and our first look today at R62.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a defensive holding
against
call.
Charleston.
That one's against Jack Brown, so unfortunately one of the Jacks erases the sack by Hammer, and I don't think that hold gives Mexico City a first down. Never mind. Yes, it does. And Mexico City with an absolute godsend of a break.
The former Aztec, Jack Brown, now one of the owners for Charleston with a gift to his former team. First down from the 14. Wilson, nearly a gift right back. Stamango had that one in his hands, Aaron. Could not haul it in.
Yeah, unfortunate that Stamango not able to keep his hands on that one. But if anything, what we've seen out of both of these defenses so far is it's been pretty much all safety. Like, pretty much every tackle we've called, every turnover that we've called has been on one of these 7 safeties for these teams.
You can dance if you want to. From the 14-yard line, the safety dance as Wilson throws, targeting the safeties, and he gets them that time. Matt Wilson is into the end zone again. His 4th touchdown pass. Jason Bartley has that one. Aztecs back in front.
Yeah, and Mexico City finally, after that turnover by Derek Meerkat, the rookie, finally get their own points off a turnover with that pass into the hands of Jason Bartley. And that catch finally puts Matt Wilson back in the neutral for that touchdown interception ratio. He's just a yard shy of 300 down the game, and we're not even halfway through the third quarter.
Crazy drive as they do get those points off turnovers. Well said by you, Aaron. And finally, Mexico City is able to take advantage. It's been something that has harmed them this season, as the extra point from Varner, anything but a sure thing there. It's been anything but a sure thing for Mexico City. They are one of the worst turnover differential teams in the league this year. -3 in that category today, but +4 on the scoreboard. We'll take a break. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Fourth touchdown pass of the day to the 4th different player for SFL Hall of Fame quarterback Matt Wilson, and Mexico City has the lead on the road once again, trying to book their spot in the quarterfinals. Welcome back to Charleston. Tim Hackett and Aaron Alexander in the booth. If you're wondering what happened to the halftime show with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green, we had some technical issues with the studio sending the signal out live, so you will see Cam and Mike post-game in all their glory, and we know that we were looking forward to seeing them, and they're always great to watch and listen to, so we were looking forward to their post-game thoughts on this game and the other game that we saw earlier today. London with a wire-to-wire win, a comprehensive win, but didn't look like a safe win for the Knights at the end of the day. Now Charleston trailing again, and Keith Swearingen is having a really strong game. Aaron Alexander with a gain of 8.
Yeah, it's as we saw there, 6.2 yards a carry. He's been arguably the most effective part of this Mexico City offense. He's got 2 rushing touchdowns today, who is credited as well. So this offense running through their halfback as opposed to Mexico City, who's been relying more on their pass catchers.
On the ground they go again. Swearingen has another first down, spins away from Jackson, and gets inside the 35-yard line to the 36. And while we've got a moment, you saw the stats right there. You saw the official stats pop up, 6.2 yards per carry for Swearingen, and then our live stats from Mark Lopez and Justin Reside. They've got 6.2 yards per carry for Swearingen. The stats have been absolutely on point from those two guys today. Now you get a look at the team stats for both of these two teams. 80-plus yards into the good for Mexico City, most of that coming in the passing yard category. Deep drop, deep throw from Johnson, wide open. Buchanan Simons has been shot out of the cannon, and he will score. Charleston now has the lead again. 64 yards for Buchanan Simons, who had just 1 touchdown in the regular season.
Yeah, blow off the barrel of that cannon, prepare to reload, because Buchanan Simons finds himself absolutely wide, bloody open. No Mexico City defenders within line of sight of Simons for yards. And Charleston now finds itself with the lead yet again here in, I believe, the quickest drive that we've seen out of both of these teams so far in this ball game.
Mentioned the safeties, the great play from both of those units today. Well, where were they on that one? Because the closest defender on that play was rookie linebacker Matt Anderson. And Buchanan Simons is one of the quickest wide receivers, one of the best big play guys, as we've already outlined. It's been a down year for him in all regards, but he has that big play ability. Case in point right there. Charleston takes the lead again. This is insane.
Yeah, you ask where the safeties are. They might as well have been buoys compared to the speedboat that is Buchanan Simons on that play.
Safety off on that gun for Mexico City defensively, and the Preds take the lead again. This game is insane. We mentioned at the start of this quarter there were 4 total possession changes within the first minute plus. Now we've got a couple of lead changes as well just in the last few minutes. 3 plays, 77 yards, capped off by that 64-yard passing touchdown from Kentez Johnson to Buchanan Simons. And look, I mean, we maligned Kentez at the start. It wasn't a very good start for him in this game. It's been an up and down season. I think that's fair to say for Johnson, for a team that he joined mid-season, which is never easy for any quarterback, though Baltimore made it look easy in season 15. More on that later. But Kentez has been solid today. Completion percentage is not great, but 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. Wilson has 4 passing touchdowns, and now he hits Bill Henry for the first time out of the end zone, and a gain of 6.
Yeah, and honestly, with the situation for Kentez Johnson picking up for Charleston, he's meshed with this receiving core incredibly well, despite being a mid-season pickup for the Predators. And from what we've seen so far today, there's been very, very little miscommunication between Kentez Johnson and his receivers.
Great stop defensively by Charleston, flummoxing Ray Bentley. That's rookie Robert Cherry, who's had a great year as a defensive tackle with that TFL. To your point, Aaron, I mean, T.D. Drew was the only quarterback that a lot of these Charleston ball catchers had played with in their careers. Even for Simons and Maccaro, who've played for other franchises, they'd both been with Drew at the controls for the last handful of years. They all have to adjust to a new guy. He brings a totally different look, throws from the other hand. As Wilson throws, and no one's there, hands or otherwise. Bartley and Daggs were both in the vicinity. Second time we've said this, but neither can make the catch, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, it's I think it may have been the same play they called the last time that happened. Unfortunately, it just kind of fell apart. Wilson not really able to nail down a specific target on that one. And for the first time in what feels like forever, we're going to see one of these teams punt the ball away here after 3 and out.
Mexico City has barely punted at all in this game, it feels like. I'm pretty sure this is just the second punt today for George Amy. High snap, great defense by the Preds. And now returnable for Jay Taylor, who's had a good season returning punts, an average of better than 5.5 yards per return. Top 10 mark in the league, but nothing doing for him there. Great stop by Mexico City. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions, plus features from our content team, including Swamp Talk, Power Rankings, and many more feature series. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. It's Kentez Johnson with the lead back again, throws out to Swearingen, his first catch in a little while, and another tackle by Derek Meerkat.
Yeah, and Charleston has utilized Swearingen out of the backfield to some effect here, especially in this one. But for Charleston, their offense runs a lot better, and we've seen it in this one when Keith Swearingen is running the ball on the ground and making big plays with his feet.
14 carries for 85 yards unofficially and 2 touchdowns for Swearingen. And then we'll throw to him here, and he breaks out of the first tackle and gets the first down. Linebacker Matt Anderson makes the stop, gain of 9 for Swearingen, who caught a lot of balls in the regular season, Aaron, 71. That's a top 20 mark among all, top 25 mark, among all catchers, not just running backs, and just his third catch today. That one's good for a first down.
Yeah, credit on that one though goes to the pulling guard on the pulling tackle, that was Ben Cross on the blocking outside there for Swearingen, which allowed him to get the extra yardage he needed for that first down.
Across midfield, and now on the ground they go. Swearingen navigates, sidesteps, and picks up 7. And 7 wins this regular season for Charleston. They started 0-2, then they won 4 straight, including that aforementioned overtime victory against Vancouver. Came down to the wire. Then they've won their last 2 games. 44-27 victory at Atlanta. Tough season this year for the Swarm. And then last week, 29-24 victory at home against Florida. Both of those teams made the playoffs. Those are 2 division teams, and Charleston one of 3 Atlantic Division teams in the postseason. Johnson evades the hit, throws wide open, first down to the 31. Johnson has been strong today. Jay Taylor with that catch.
Yeah, and Jay Taylor has been relatively quiet compared to the rest of this receiving core. That just his second catch so far in this ball game. The only other targets that Kentez Johnson hasn't hit yet in this game are the fullback Terrell Sutherland and the second tight end Dusty Rourke.
Don't see much from Roark this season at all. And there's a catch for the other tight end, Lyric Da Vinci, who we've seen a lot of today, Aaron. Again, quiet year for him, only 37 catches, despite all that great average that you hinted at earlier. But big day for him today. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, that 5th catch actually ties for total grabs among the receiving core, ties him with Buchanan Simons. That one good for 5, brings up second and short just side of the Mexico City red zone here.
The day for Simons. Second down, Johnson this way. Here's Macaro, his first catch of the second half, and another first down for the Preds.
Yeah, and that first down takes Charleston now into the Mexico City red zone. That one, a good 8-yard grab for Macaro, and Charleston now is looking to try and extend this lead potentially to just a little over a score.
Johnson 5 of 5 on this drive after that completion. Swearingen has his second carry of the possession, and Matt Anderson makes that stop. So one of the newcomers of this Mexico City secondary, when we mentioned there are 4 of them. There's number 52, that's Zach Daggs, one of the other linebackers, also helping to bring down Swearingen. So rookies at every level defensively for Mexico City. Ramos Lynn had to work in a lot of newcomers, and they are back in the postseason once again, trying to win in the postseason for the second straight year in pursuit of their second franchise championship. Johnson throws low. It's caught again by Da Vinci. Second time this play has worked on this possession. Charbs with the stop.
Yeah, a great catch again by Da Vinci. And on the play prior, I do want to give credit to Dusty Wilson, the guard. He had some great blocking, sealing that edge off for Swearingen on that play. Unfortunately, the hole there closed up a bit too quickly for Swearingen to really make anything of it.
3rd and 3 from inside the 10. Here goes Swearingen, runs into a lineman and then gets blown up half a yard short by the veteran Jeffrey Daggs. He slowed his own progress, really, Aaron. I thought he had that first down locked. We are done with 3. Charleston leads by 3. Back and forth we go. Can the Preds pull away? This is the SFL, presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. To the 4th quarter we go. Back and forth we've gone. Alongside Aaron Alexander in the booth, Cameron Irvine, Mike St. Green, Justin Reside, and Mark Lopez. I'm Tim Hackett. It's the SFL postseason on Next Level Sports. Happy to have you with us. Charleston has a 4th and 1. Bring the offense back out there with a 3-point lead as we start the 4th. Mexico City jumps off sides. They will snap the ball. Swearingen has the first down. Dan Tritz makes the stop, Aaron. They ran it, and they got it.
Yeah, Dan Tritz makes the stop, but Dan Tritz was also the one that jumped off sides on that one. So instead of it being 1st and goal from the Mexico City 4, we're going to see it as 1st and goal from Mexico City's 2-yard line, which we've seen Swearingen do it before in this very quarter. A 2-yard run in the end zone in the right circumstances is a cakewalk for a back like Swearingen.
Already got 2 rushing touchdowns today, coming up on 100 rushing yards on the day. Close to a milestone day for him as well. They will run it. Swearingen right tackle, and Mexico City ready for that one. Great stop by Angela Meerkat, the rookie defensive end.
Yeah, another rookie here making a big impact for this young Mexico City defense. That one, a loss of about a yard, I believe, as Charleston's going to look to take a breather, redistribute themselves, and try and figure out how to get into the end zone here.
Mexico City's first-round pick with a tackle for loss. As Swearingen gets the give again, and another spin move. It's the hat trick for Keith Swearingen. That one was sweet as well. Charleston opens up its biggest lead.
Yeah, get your hats out on the field, ladies and gentlemen, because Keith Swearingen's got himself a hat trick, and boy, is it a beautiful one as well. That run by Swearingen, yes, it wasn't very long, but man, with those moves, absolutely gorgeous, especially that spin move there at the end in order to get into the end zone. And Charleston now looking to make this a 10-point ball game here early in the 4th quarter.
Unbelievable performance from Swearingen, who averages about 92 rushing yards per game. Not a very good average on the balance of the season, just 4 yards per carry. That's one of the lowest among all tailbacks, but 5th in carries, 12th in total yards. You know he's a workhorse, and today he has shown out. He's averaging better than 5 yards per carry, so much better than his average over the course of the regular season. Unofficially now north of 100 rushing yards in this game and 3 rushing touchdowns. I think you can spell player of the game with the letters in T. Swearingen so far today if Charleston is able to hold on. They've got a 2-score lead for the first time today. Breckett kicks away. Daggs, you know he can energize with a kick return. Here he goes. Jeffrey Daggs steps outside and gets to the 40-yard line. Exactly what Mexico City needed. It's been all Preds over the last couple of minutes, Aaron Alexander, but Jeffrey Daggs, I mean, what more can you say?
Yeah, and honestly, that one, I partially expected to go to the end zone with just how much green there was in front of him. Unfortunately, it's another safety. Josh Reese, playing special teams here, gets the stop on Jeffrey Daggs in order to prevent him from getting that kick return touchdown. He actually doesn't have any yet this season, which is a bit of a shock in my opinion. But a great field position for Mexico City, though, after that run by Daggs.
Kick return touchdowns in his career, one of the best marks in league history. They will throw it. Phoenix Jones tries to drive the legs forward and pushes through Jack Hoffman, for a short gain. And this is something that you talked about earlier, Aaron. Phoenix Jones has done nothing on the ground today. Unofficially, 10 carries for 20 yards. Math even I can do, 2 yards per carry. But that's his 8th catch for 72 yards. He's been one of Mexico City's best receivers.
Yeah, Mexico City has been utilizing him more of a possession-style receiver as that ball handed off to Ray Bentley that goes absolutely nowhere.
Chris Joseph blows it up. This new look defensive line, they've got a bunch of changes. Joseph Sabolka is in his 5th year, but there are 2 new members on this Charleston front. Chris Joseph, the former Houston Hyena, and Robert Cherry, their first-round pick as a defensive tackle to go with the second-year man, John Lawley. Brand new look. Better results than ever, it feels like, for Charleston. 3rd down, Wilson fires, caught short of the sticks by Jason Bartley.
And if I'm Jason Bartley, I'm absolutely kicking myself right now because I believe he had the space to just slightly turn his body upfield in order to get that ball across the first down marker with forward progress. Unfortunately, not able to get it there, and Mexico City making arguably the smart decision to punt this ball away. Though with how Charleston has been so far in this game, that may not be the best call. Mexico City should have thought a bit more, I think, about going for it here.
Time is starting to run out. Charleston has scored on their last 2 possessions to take this 10-point lead. Nothing doing for Jay Taylor on that return. Mexico City has not scored since the midway point of this 3rd quarter. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. So far, the soundtrack of this game has been pretty sweet for Kentez Johnson, especially lately, and so it has too for Keith Swearingen. Stutter steps and picks up 4. There you go, officially over 100 rushing yards now.
Yeah, that hesitation just allowing the offensive line a bit more time to get their blocks a bit more developed, and it worked to great effect. Allowing Swearingen to get a bit of extra yardage on that one brings up 2nd and medium here for the Predators, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see another Swearingen run again here on 2nd down.
5 on first. They will run it again to Swearingen. Gets a couple there and a gain of 3. Tackle made by Gerard Brody. And it's been a great day for Swearingen. It's been a really good day lately for Kentez Johnson. Cameron Irvine telling us Kentez starting 4 of 11 passing. Since then, he is 17 of 19. And he's thrown for over 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The man that really, he's known by his first name, Kentez. And he's been great this game. Zips it, another completion for Kentez, and another catch for Lyric Da Vinci, working on another masterpiece.
I'm telling you, Kentez Johnson is trying to make a case for him to be a competitor in the World Cup of Darts or something with these absolute gorgeous passes that he's throwing. A quick note that I'd like to point out while this both these teams approach the line of scrimmage: if this results hold, so far in this wildcard weekend. It's been the high seeds that have been successful, with London winning against Jacksonville in the game prior, and Charleston now, as we see, the 10-point lead currently, as that one goes for a loss of 3.
Every single game, though, going into this weekend has been a toss-up on paper. If you look at the fan votes, if you look at Jack's Data's polling, the over-unders, things like that, the spread in this game, 3.5. That's pretty much what the line is for all 4 of these wildcard games. It's expected when all teams are 7-5. I've said for the last few years, Aaron, that 6-6 is good enough to get a team into the postseason. Not this year. Las Vegas was 6-6. They were on the outside looking in. You've got all of these teams at 7-5 that have to play here in the first round, the wild card round. 4 teams obviously get first round buys. They are awaiting action next week. So all of these 8, 7-5 teams going head to head here in the wild card round. They're a bunch of good teams, plus 500 teams that are going to go home after this weekend. Johnson looking to go deep, and Buchanan Simons has another catch. This is a guy with 1 touchdown catch all season, 661 yards, one of the lowest marks of his career. He's up close to 150 today.
Yeah, and the Cannons start smoking yet again here. Another great pass into the hands of Buchanan Simons. And to your credit, yeah, a part of the reason I think that it's just all 5 and 17s is not only the quality of teams that we have here in the SFL, but also the schedule change that we saw in the offseason.
First down, out of the outside they go. It's McCarroll. He was great in the first quarter. He's been overshadowed by Simon Sense, which has not been the case for Charleston this year. It's fair to say it's been the McCarroll show. He's had a career year, while Simons has had one of the worst seasons of his career. We mentioned it. He's had between 50 or 60, talking about Simons, he's had between 50 or 60 catches every year that he's played in Charleston. This is his 5th season, but this is his fewest yards, 661, since he had 608 as a rookie with the Chicago Wildcats 8 seasons ago. Swearingen will get the give, nothing doing there, and only 1 receiving touchdown for Simons. He'd never had fewer than 5 receiving touchdowns in a regular season before this year. But saving the best for the postseason, no surprise with a standout like him, 130 receiving yards and a score.
Yeah, and 130 yards that Charleston desperately needed at a point, but now it's just icing on the cake for the Predators.
And they iced this game. Kentes throws, first down, another big catch. McCarroll was there, inside the 5 they go. Is it Simons again? No, it's actually Raven Sabolka, one of the backup wide receivers, number 19 in the Charleston Black, painting this Mexico City defense black and blue.
Yeah, and it's definitely safe to say, especially if Charleston hits the end zone here, that this game is well and truly sealed away. Charleston with some great play despite a rough early going here to beat a very, very capable Mexico City team.
Inside the 5 now with inside of 5 minutes left in regulation. Charleston by 10. The 3-back set. Haven't seen this very much from him today. Swearingen again. Can he do it again? No, he cannot. Great tackle by second-year corner Gerard Brody. That smells like a mismatch, but now with Brody out there.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the heavy set. If my memory is correct, I believe that's the first heavy set play that we've seen all game between both of these teams, which is admittedly a bit rare because we see teams run heavy set with a pretty healthy mix here in the SFL.
Under 4 minutes left. Mexico City desperately in need of a stop, just like Jacksonville got in the first game to give themselves a chance. On the ground they go again. It's Swearingen. Again, nothing doing. Brody is in the mix again for Mexico City.
Yeah, and this is the type of stop that Mexico City desperately needs. If they can hold the Predators to just 3 here, it's still going to be a bit of a long shot, but it gives Mexico City a much better chance to try and come back in this game.
It's the exact situation that we saw in game 1 today, though. London with a 10-point lead. Jacksonville holds them to a field goal, gives them a chance to come back. The Kings were not able to do it, but they at least had a chance. Charleston up by 10 here. Swearingen gets the give, runs into his own man again, and Skylar Kingsley is able to help make the stop. Matt Anderson has been everywhere in the second half, good and bad for Mexico City. He's got another tackle. The Aztecs hold. It's 4th down.
Yeah, and a great stand by Mexico City. I fear it might be too little too late as the 2-minute warning looms ever closer here. A bit of a note from Mark Lopez, one of our statisticians. Swearingen just 1 rushing yard in his last 6 attempts on that drive.
After he went over 100 on that 4 or 5 yard gain earlier this drive, yeah, they stonewalled him. They go to him a bunch in the goal-to-go situation, and Mexico City, after Swearingen had gashed them all game, they go to him 3 times. The Aztecs stop him 3 times, and they hold Charleston to just 3 points. Second made field goal today from Brad Breckett, who is top 5 in the league this year in makes and field goal attempts. Despite that low percentage, he's got 2 made kicks today, and Charleston extends the lead. 17 unanswered points by the Preds. Where have we heard that before, Aaron? They have the lead again.
If I recall, I believe it was midway through the second quarter. And unfortunately, this time, though, I don't think Mexico City has enough time to answer. Yes, they definitely have enough time to answer, being just outside of the 2-minute warning with all 3 timeouts remaining. However, what I don't think Mexico City has enough time for is to make up the 17 points that Charleston now leads by in order to try and take this game into overtime.
Montez Johnson has rallied after that poor start. Remember, we mentioned 4 of his first 11. He's now 25 of 34, completion percentage better than 73%, 345 yards, a quarterback rating of about 125. That's crazy. Wilson pump fakes, throws into coverage, tip, and intercepted again. 5th interception by Charleston, 3rd by Josh Reese. The safeties have all 5, and that could be the dagger for the Preds.
That's a second hat trick the direction of the Charleston Predators. This time, it's a hat trick of interceptions for the safety, Josh Reese. And realistically, after that interception, this ball game is over. All Charleston has to do now is run out the rest of this 2 minute and 13 seconds that's on the clock, waste the rest of Mexico City's timeouts. And in a case like that, I definitely don't think that Mexico City is going to have enough time to score 17 on Charleston. Not with how their defense is.
And now they jump off sides. That's Kingsley. They'll run the other way, and Keith Swearingen has the first down by himself. That is the record-setting mark. He passes Park Hee-chul for 12th most rushing yards all time if this play stands, and obviously it will. Kingsley was the one who jumped offside. There you go. The Predators decline. A career day, well, a record-setting day at least, for Keith Swearingen, one of his best ever postseason games, and that might do it for the Preds.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise, to be honest, that it's been the 2 veterans on this defensive line that have been called for offside penalties, and not the rookie, Angela Meerkat, who has proven to be incredibly well-disciplined here in her first season in the SFL.
Doubt about that. They have to snap it again before the 2-minute warning. Now they're close to field goal range as well. Swearingen gets thrown down right on cue. So there's another point for you, Aaron. Angela Meerkat. It will be a gain of 1 for Swearingen, but that's it. Mexico City needs a couple of stops. Only 2 minutes left, and the Preds now up by 13. This is the SFL presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Preds have come through in crunch time. In the fourth quarter, they are outgaining Mexico City 87 yards to 9, and they have scored 17 unanswered to take a 2-score lead. Keith Swearingen with the give, not a lot doing there, and Mexico City will wisely use its first timeout, Aaron.
Yeah, and I think in this quarter especially, it's to the credit of the Charleston defense, who have allowed the Charleston offense to not only outstrip Mexico City's offense by 9 times over, but also Mexico City hasn't had enough yardage in this quarter to even refresh the down marker.
9 total yards for the Aztecs in this quarter. That's insane, and that'll help. A stick in the backfield by Dexter Jackson. For the second straight possession, Aaron, Mexico City's been able to key on Keith Swearingen. That'll hold Breckett and company to another field goal attempt, and that is exactly what the Aztecs need. If he hits it, it's still a 2-score game.
Yeah, but only just a 2-score game. It'd be 16 points separating Charleston and Mexico City, but Mexico City would need I think they would need both 2-point conversions, now that I think about it, in order to even tie the Predators at this point, which 2-point conversions aren't made very often here in the SFL.
And this is not a gimme field goal for Breckett, but he says gimme that. Good from 50 yards. His third made kick today. There you go. Another hat trick for a guy wearing the Charleston black. It's the third made for Breckett from 50. It's a new long for him today, and now it's a 16-point lead.
I feel bad for Charleston janitors having to clean up all of these hats after this game ends.
I didn't think there was any hockey in South Carolina, but now there might be, because Charleston might have just put this game on ice. Mexico City is going to have to score 16 points in a minute 50, and as you say, they will have to knock down both 2-point conversions. But one silver lining maybe for the team wearing white is Jeffrey Daggs, who spins away. I got another great return. He beats out Brad Breckett. Are you kidding me? Here he goes. No kick return touchdowns this season. Welcome to the postseason. It's Jeffrey Daggs to the house, a kick 6.
Well, that certainly changes the dynamic in this game, doesn't it? An absolute gorgeous return by Jeffrey Daggs here. And being that next to no time has been taken off the clock, Mexico City, of course, would need to hit the 2-point conversion here. But, you know, it's just an onside kick, and Mexico City has possession again with a chance to tie this game up. And we see this absolute thriller of a ball game going to overtime.
Now this is the all-important play. That's just step 1 on the road to a comeback trail for Mexico City. They need this 2-point conversion. Wilson will spread it out. No Phoenix Jones. Back of the end zone and swatted away by Reese. Could have been intercepted, but that's just as good for Charleston. They swatted down. It is still a 10-point game.
Yeah, definitely still a possible comeback here for Mexico City, but not getting that 2-point conversion makes this indefinitely harder for the Aztecs.
Feel the door is open. To your point, they score immediately. 15 seconds came off the clock, but they need this recovery, and they won't get it. Charleston will get the ball inside the 40. Cole Varner is one of the best kickers in SFL history. You can make the argument that he is the best kicker in SFL history, but Charleston is ready to get the stop against him there. Heads with the ball, up by 10.
Yeah, to your credit on Varner, he's currently the all-time leader in both field goals made and field goals attempted, 254 field goals as Charleston enters victory formation, forced Mexico City to use our last timeout.
Montez Johnson had a really slow start to his career in Charleston. His third game was a 15-0 loss against Louisiana. Charleston was not able to score, obviously. They were barely able to move the ball against one of the best teams in the league, Louisiana, a team that got a first-round bye. But last week, Montez Johnson had his best game as a Pred, completing better than 80% of his passes, 358 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Today, he's right back at it. Nearly 350 yards, better than 70% completion, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. It's Kentez's crew now, and he and Keith Swearingen are going to lead the Preds into the second round of the playoffs for the second straight season.
Yeah, and you wanna talk about a flip of fortunes between these two teams. Kenton shots, of course, as we saw, struggled into the first half, was incredibly effective in the second. Matt Wilson, the exact opposite. Their completion percentage about the same. In fact, Matt Wilson is actually worse than Kessa Johnson's, and plus that -1 touchdown interception ratio definitely doesn't help matters for Mexico City and Matt Wilson.
Mexico City led 21-17 at the half, but in the second half, our stat team telling us in the last break, the Aztecs have been held south of 100 total yards of offense. Jeffrey Daggs pretty much equaled it on that kick return touchdown, but as you said, Aaron, it was too little too late. The Aztecs will get the ball because Murphy will have to punt one more time, but down by 10 with only 15 seconds to play, it's a formality. And Charleston is going to have a playoff win for the second straight season for the first time in franchise history. Murphy will punt it with 15. Daggs again, the return man. He's dangerous, but he will make the fair catch at the 11 with 10 seconds left. Coming up on the APM Music post-game update, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green wrap up this clash between the Aztecs and the Predators, plus a preview of Next Level Sports Sunday doubleheader coverage of SFL Wildcard Weekend. It's all coming up on the post-game update, and I think they would like me to say, we promise this time. If you're looking for Mike St. Green and Cameron Irvine, you'll get them. We promise. A little bit more of Matt Wilson before the game ends as well. 10 seconds left, no timeouts, 10-point deficit. Wilson fires. Nobody home. That was Lockett on the target. They spread the ball out once again very nicely, Aaron. They did it last week as well in their win against Lone Star. Everybody had a catch. Similar story here. TT Crystal is the only starter without a catch. Derek Noger's got more than him, unfortunately for him. But those 5 interceptions for Wilson, hard to overcome.
Yeah, especially when Charleston was so efficient on scoring points off of almost all of those turnovers. There was only one where they didn't. That was because of a turnover immediately after the fumble caused by the rookie Derek Meerkat, as this ball game is over.
Wilson links up with Lockett, and that will do it. A 20-0 second half surge by Charleston is the difference, and the defense helps power the Preds into the quarterfinal round for the second straight season. Charleston wins it 44-34. That bottom line there for me, Aaron, is the difference. Charleston +4 in turnover differential. They didn't score off of every takeaway like they did in the first half. Here's just one of Josh Reese's 3 picks. But that's been one of the keys to success for Charleston this year. +6 on turnover differential in the regular season. That was 6th best among all teams. Mexico City this season -7 in turnover differential. And that margin today favors Charleston.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate if you're Mexico City that the game ended up this way, but again, you gotta give props to this Charleston defense. We knew that their rush defense was going to be a bit of a difference maker in this one, which definitely we saw that. Phoenix Jones held to just 20 yards on the ground, officially 33 on the ground in this one. Meanwhile, yes, they did allow a lot of yards through the air, 332 yards and 4 touchdowns, but the 5 interceptions, the 3 by Josh Reese, the 2 by John Semengo, definitely the biggest difference maker, I think, in this one, to the point where I think we may see Josh Reese get player of the game here.
35 takeaways this regular season for Charleston. That was a franchise record, just barely beating out the 34 that they had a season ago. And this has been one of the best takeaway teams in the SFL for the last few years. They have been one of the best overall defenses in the SFL for the last few years. 6th in total yards this season, 363 on average. They finished in the top 10 in 5 of the last 6 seasons, counting this year. And this great defense, they give up those 34 points, like you say, to Matt Wilson and company, but all those takeaways, it's hard to overlook this Charleston team. We don't know who they'll play next week yet, but the seeds hold. Both home teams win here in the playoffs, like you pointed out earlier. Charleston is moving on. This team is a tough out. I don't care who they play.
Yeah, and to your credit, just looking at a bit of history here, as far back as Charleston's entry into the league as the Indianapolis Red Devils, they haven't been lower than 12th in the regular season in takeaways, that being back in season 12, where they tied their season 11 total with 21 takeaways. but it's been pretty much all up here from there, especially since their move to Charleston, South Carolina. This season, of course, as you mentioned, a franchise high in takeaways, as we see player of the game honors go to the halfback Keith Swearingen, his own hat trick of rushing touchdowns.
A lot of changes for Charleston over the last few years. New ownership, new coaches, and this season, a new quarterback. Can they pull a Baltimore and be a team that changes quarterbacks halfway through the season and wins an SFL title? They are one win to the good. Thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. For Justin Reside and Mark Lopez, tremendous job by you two today. Thank you. And my partner, Aaron Alexander, it has been a pleasure. I've been Tim Hackett. We will send you to the post-game show with Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green. That's next. This is the SFL postseason presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. We'll see you next time. Until then, so long.
Welcome to your post-game update along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. What a performance by the Charleston Predators, Mike. We were thoroughly impressed here back at the studios watching them take out Mexico City and advance to the next round of the playoffs.
Yeah, Cam, I'll see if I can keep it together over here long enough at the MSG studios over here to
yeah, we had some problems.
But yeah, man, great performance by Charleston in this game. Kentez Johnson, he started off a little slow, and man, he has really impressed me over the past couple of weeks. But as we said, last week was kind of like a playoff game win, and they had to get in. But we were commenting about how his pocket presence, he looks so great out there on the field. He looks like a leader. He looks like a leader of this team, and probably the best thing that happened to Charleston midway through the season was picking him up and putting him in that QB position. And he's been great, paying dividends down the stretch for them.
A lot of the talk at the beginning of the season was how TD Drew just bailed, and a lot of people were looking at Charleston going, well, there goes their season, and not the case at all. Kentez Johnson, a guy, Mike, that made back-to-back semifinal appearances with the Houston Hyenas, but just couldn't get to the big dance. And here he is back in the quarterfinals. I mean, they just picked him up off the street. Guy can still play. And Mike, in the last couple of weeks, you got his numbers?
Yeah, like 59 out of 72 over 700 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, the touchdown numbers are not going to wow you, but the 0 interceptions, that's the huge number. And he's been finding, different targets all over the field. We hadn't seen much of Buchanan Simons, leading up to this point. He has 140 yards receiving today. Lyric DaVinci over 100 yards receiving as well. So he's spreading the ball around. We saw the touchdown pass to Ken McCarroll early in the game. So spreading the ball around, getting everyone involved. And he's just been a great leader for this team. And one last thing to give credit to this coaching staff, just 2 different styles of quarterbacks. They've adjusted on the fly, and they're basically taking advantage of what Quintez is able to bring to the table, as a player.
Thomas Paternitti, owner of the Baltimore Vultures, in our Twitch chat said it correctly. If Sioux Falls wins, Baltimore will play London. If Florida wins, they'll play the winner. Baltimore will play the winner of Tulsa and D.C. So that's an interesting storyline as we head into Sunday, Mike. But it's just tremendous first couple of games. London and Charleston take home field and use it to their advantage. Charleston's now won back-to-back home games in the playoffs. Really something. It was, Mexico City in the first 5 minutes of this game, Mike, it looked ugly, and Charleston was aggressive. They stacked the box. They were going, they went single high a lot. They put 10 up front. They were not going to let Phoenix Jones run wild, and they were gonna make Mexico City think about what they were going to do against all these crazy formations. And by and large, it worked, Mike. The aggression worked.
Yeah, basically they said we're gonna put our money on our experienced and great secondary, and it paid off in the end. It took a little adjustment. We were thinking, man, they're not going to have an answer for this passing game. Phoenix Jones with an early touchdown catch. Jacob McCall, great mention to him. he had a great breakout season. He had a touchdown there early in the first quarter, and we were thinking, man, they're not going to have an answer for these guys, but we just kept seeing 8, 9 in the box, 10 in the box. These guys said, hey, we're going to gamble on Stamango and Clear and Bravo and Menor. We're going to gamble on these guys, and we're going to feel like it's going to pay off in the end. And they adjusted. The offense, started moving. And after Quintez had a somewhat of a slow start, and man, they took everybody out of the game. Mike Daggs only 2 catches on the day. The rest of the guys,
Bartley was quiet.
Yeah, but McCall was quiet after the early in the game, but Bartley had a pretty solid game. Of course, Matt Wilson had 4 touchdown passes, but the 5 interceptions that they were able to create really made a difference in this game. And then Keith Swearingen got going, and man, they were off and rolling.
Charleston gave up 34 points, Mike, but they were agents of chaos. The defensive line 8. They only gave up 20 yards on the ground to Phoenix Jones. They forced 5 turnovers. They just made life difficult for Mexico City, despite a few bright moments. And with Charleston and London getting wins, it over Jacksonville and Mexico City, there's just a smidge of changing of the guard feel, right, Mike? Because we know Jacksonville and Mexico City to be elite, but now it's not just these teams are making the playoffs that don't have a lot of playoff experience or wins, but now they're winning these games against these big teams, and it's wide open out there.
Yeah, it's definitely wide open, Cam. As we talked, I really believe no one is just head and shoulders above anyone else. Yes, Vancouver only has 1 loss on the season, and a great team, great coach team, very experienced. But we've seen them play some close games, during the course of the season. They escaped with a win over Houston after being down early in that game. We saw them hold off LA late in the game, over there in the game late in the season. So and they lost to Charleston earlier in the season. So good team, solid team, experienced team, well coached, and they're well deserving of the number 1 slot. But I don't think anybody just can say, let's roll out the footballs and we're going to beat the other team. It's going to be an interesting playoffs going into the semifinals. Into the quarters.
In 4 minutes, don't go anywhere. We'll have a preview of tomorrow's NXT SFL playoff doubleheader when the post-game update continues. Welcome back to Sim Football Postgame, a preview of tomorrow's action, the doubleheader on Next Level Sports, Mike, and it should be a fun time. Once again, we had two great games today, very competitive games. Tulsa, D.C., Florida, Sioux Falls, tomorrow starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, man, started in D.C. Let's start with Kevin Sater, running back at D.C. I mean, he started this season off, Cam. We thought he was going to go for over 2,000 yards, but he's kind of slowed down, quite a bit towards the end of the season. And they, depending on their quarterback, Sabaz Synergy, he's been very efficient, not turning the ball over. And they kind of stumbled a little bit coming down the stretch, but they're going to be a tough out at home, especially if they can get Kevin Sater cranked up for these playoffs. Josh Gill has been a great target on the receiving end over there. And Tulsa, Cam, these guys, I look at the stats and I wonder, how did these guys get here? But they are here, and they should be proud of being here. Jake Hughes at the bottom of the stat line for his quarterbacks go. But hey, all thing they can say is we're here, and we have a chance to advance. And Douglas Brown, the first overall pick, he's been great coming into this, all season long. We'll see how he can do against DC tomorrow. And man, a heavyweight matchup. Florida against Sioux Falls. Florida, three-time champs, and Sioux Falls have been to the championship a couple of times, and we'll see how that turns out tomorrow as well. Should be a great matchup between those two.
How did Tulsa get here, Mike? They can ruin your life defensively. They can just destroy you, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle DC. Should be a fun time tomorrow. Same time, same place. St. Green will not be here. Tim Hackett will be joining us in studio as St. Green normally is, we don't normally have Sunday doubleheaders, but we'll miss Mike very much. We'll see you next Saturday, and Tim and I will be here to hold down the fort for our doubleheader tomorrow on Next Level Sports. For all of us at the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music, I'm Cameron Irvine saying good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.